Yo, what's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and this is a Black Clover Chapter 268 review and breakdown. And I'm so glad. For one, I'm so glad that the official copy came out on Viz.com a day early. But I'm just so glad to see what was actually being said, because there was so much speculation that was going on, and with it not being translated or French translation, I was just all like, all right, let me find out for sure what's going on. So this particular episode, or this particular chapter, is called Devil, and so it starts off with where things left off, and Asta reiterating, just because somebody's a devil doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad guy. And then the AntiMagic Devil goes on to talk about how devils are born and what goes down in hell. And so basically it's like a party of toxic proportions, and so pretty much the higher range devils will pick on the lower ranked, and the even lower rank will straight up mistreat the lowest of the lowest. And so the AntiMagic Devil was actually the lowest of the low. He had no magic or no anything, and so every single day he would be bleeding, he would be getting picked on. And so one day a ticked off higher devil threw the AntiMagic Devil at the gate of the underworld, and the AntiMagic Devil was figured he would just be smashed to pieces. But instead, since he had no mana, he just went right through, completely out of the blue, and ended up in the human world. Now, the thing is that the devils, what they do is they enjoy toying with humans. That's their biggest thrill, and so that wasn't the case with the AntiMagic Devil. And actually, he would, even in the human world, because he's a devil, people would be like, a devil will be cursed, it's a devil. And so they called the Magic Knights, and they, with powerful magic, chased him until his body wouldn't move anymore, and he felt like his rotten life was finally about to end. But then he opened his eyes the next day, and here we see who we are presuming to be Astas Mom or Asta ancestor, because the striking resemblance is just too canny. And so here we have mini AntiMagic Devil, which is completely adorable, and we find out this woman's name is Licita, and she explains that he's in her house, and she explains her magic. Her magic, if anything lacks mana, she can put it into and take it out of other things, and that's how she brought him there. So I guess she was able to put him inside this little bottle basically and bring him over there. Now she's all still what a surprise, because she had just a couple of days prior found the 5-leaf grimoire, and then she meets the devil, and she's like, that's crazy. And she's like, is that 5th leaf superstition true? And the AntiMagic Devil is all like, you're not afraid of me? And she's all like, who would be scared of an injured little kid? Besides, you don't have any magic, you're all frail, and anyway, if we're talking about being loathed, I can give you a run for your money. Because not only can she seal things, but her body steals magic and life from whatever's near her, and we see like a little poisonous snake come near her and like freaking melt. And so we find out that she lives way outside of the village by herself. And then she goes on to explain that, you know, you don't have any magic and you're not losing, you know, your life around me. So she's like, this must be fate, and, you know, you should be my kid. You know, and then they go into this is so freaking adorable. They go into this whole like mother-son freaking playing and fishing and bathing and making snowman and everything like that. And AntiMagic Devil goes on to say that human changed his world. And then same thing with Asta saying, she goes to say, just because somebody's a devil doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad guy. After all, you aren't a bad guy. Being all on my own hurt, you rescued me from that. Thanks, Libby. And that's where we find out the name. And then right when that's going on, Libby seems like he's, you know, out of it, possessed. And then boom, Lucifero comes out, and he's just all like, yo, this is actually a trip. I didn't even know that, you know, humans devils could come out without making a contract. Like, that is legit. And Levy's just all like, my body isn't listening to me. And he's just all like, what a find. I'll use him to search for a way to manifest my own body in the human world. And then, you know, Lecho's just all like, who do you think you are? Get away from Levy. And he's just all like, foolish human, you know, you think that you ain't gonna do nothing. And then we get a flashback. Of her dropping off a baby. Now, we're just gonna say that this is Asta because this makes so much sense. While he was in the womb, she took away all of his magic, basically. And so she goes on to say that this time I'm not letting go. So before, she had let go and kind of felt like that was the best thing for him, which, I mean, kind of is, you know. And then we get the next page and boom, you know, I want to make notice that this, as far as this shadow hand going through her stomach, it reminds me a lot of Nox's power and him being able to just like restrain Asta on the ground. So I don't know if there's going to be some correlation with that, but you know, even though she's been pierced like with a hand through her stomach, she's all like, this boy, and she's basically sucking away his energy, Lucifero. And as she goes on to say, this boy is not yours. And, you know, Libby, the AntiMagic Devil, you know, says her name, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm so dumb. This is the only way I can think to protect you from that guy. And she decides to go ahead and seal him into the grimoire. And then she says, by the time you emerge, I'm sure you'll have grown up big and strong. Live, Libby, my dear son. So that flashback that we got, and then, you know, he actually says mom, and then is sealed up in the thing. So that replay back to the previous chapter with Dante, that wasn't Asta's memory. That was the AntiMagic Devil's memory. So that is so wild. And so, you know, Libby, the AntiMagic Devil, is just like, I will never forgive them. We go back to the current time, and he says, devils are scum, every last one of them. And so I'm gonna kill them all, even if I have to steal your body to do it. And it ends like that. there's a lot going on here. So we need, like I was saying, as far as in the leaks, you know, and I saw Anime Balls Deep was saying this as well, but either Sekri is just completely like, she doesn't know anything. Yo, Sekri looks like, if it seems like she gets completely freaking faded, and she's just all like, yo man, I think like this was, I don't even know, man, like I don't even know, because like I don't know in what time frame. We're just gonna say that 16-17 years ago, Sekri Nero had woke up around that same time, you know, and maybe she didn't even, there's something as far as, there's some little things going on with that, but it will make complete sense that, boom, she left Asta at the church, and then, you know, she did that because, I mean, it could be a number of things, but I'm pretty sure she was fully aware of her magic. Now, who's the father? That we are not sure. It will be crazy if it was Dante. Like, it really would be crazy. Like, full circle up in this, like on some Star Wars Darth Vader type of thing, but I'm not sure. But whoever it was, either maybe there were certain aspects about her power that she just didn't know, but I can't imagine that. So how did she get pregnant? You know, like, did the guy die? Like, is this on some, you know, what's her face stuff off of X-Men Rogue, like, where she, you know, touches people, they die, you know? Or did she have, there has to be something. That's some of the questions that are popping up into my head. So we're looking at time frames, so that's very, very interesting, because honestly, if this happened around the same time as the invasion, that would kind of make sense, because then Lucifero would go from trying to take over Liebe and then going over to Dante, right? Like, pretty much. But they already had like the devil powers, I believe, at that point, you know. So man, there's some interesting correlations. And one thing that I thought was very, very interesting. Okay, her power is she can seal things like Neru, you know, which her power seems like seems super, super dope. So there's that aspect. Then she also, people that get close to her, kind of like with Henry, they lose as far as their life force and mana. Now, one thing that does strike me is we don't know Gray's actual name. And the only reason I bring her up, because she has transformation magic, but why was that particular memory triggered within the AntiMagic Devil after Ghost gets stabbed? And then in order to heal, because there's some interesting things, we find out that Tetia didn't die, and we already seen Sekri doing her sealing magic on physical people. So that was that might have been the first time that she had sealed a person and sealed their damage and they survived. So we already gotten some type of clue of that being possible. So it's not far-fetched to think that Astas Mom could have, I don't know, in the heat of things or different things like that, that she could have been sealed. That she could have either sealed herself, or, you know, different things like that. Another thing is that other than the 5-leaf grimoire, we didn't physically see, like, she has the little pouch, but we haven't seen her use her grimoire in order to do these things. So let me actually look back. Yeah, I mean, she has the tip. She literally is like the girl version of Asta. She has as far as the little knapsack thing that's on her side, where I'm assuming her grimoire is. So we haven't seen her actually use her grimoire, which I find is very interesting. Now, the reason why I brought up Gray is because there seems to be, I don't know, in the face or the bob or something like that, but there seems to be like this similarity with Gray. And there's certain things that are being left out. Like, for example, we don't really know how interconnected a lot of these people are. So we have the fire team that Julius had, which had Noct, or someone that appears to look like Noct on there. Now, there's certain things that have been kind of, shrouded in mystery. For one, what is Noct? And I think it's a very important thing as far as the devil hosts are concerned, to understand the transformation that happened with Noct, because there's no random reason that Noct brought Asta to that house with a picture of what appears to be a little Noct and it being scratched out. It's no coincidence that Jack noticed as far as Noct, but he's just all like, your magic is different though, and Noct's just all like, that man's gone. So there's that aspect. Julius knew of Noct, but he didn't know that he had devil powers. So that in itself is very, very interesting. Noel's mom was very interconnected as far as with all these, and we still don't know really how much Julius really even knows with a lot of this stuff. So if that is Asta's mom, which I if it's not, then hey, but that would make sense why Asta doesn't have any magic, and that it was complete fate that her son would need a grimoire, and the only grimoire that he would actually be able to use would be the one with the AntiMagic Devil in it. Now, my thing is, how many other grimoires, like, is this the first time that a being has been sealed inside of a grimoire? Because that's my thing. What is actually going on in the grimoire? Because he actually grew. Like, he didn't grow that much, but when it came to basically being the same height as Asta and everything, he was in isolation, but he physically grew. Which was just very interesting. There's so many other questions that are going down, but I don't want to keep y'all. Let me know what y'all's thoughts on this chapter. Do you think that Gray may actually have a connection with Asta? Do you think her role is a little bit more than, because I feel like it's being hinted, and they've did some little weird stuff before, but there's just this canning, I feel like, resemblance between Gray and Asta's mom. So, and then Sister Lily as well. So if you look at Gray's Sister Lily and Asta's mom, I don't know, there might be something there. That might be a crazy theory, but hey, let me know what y'all think. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, drop a comment, let me know that y'all enjoying these videos and these breakdowns and everything like that. We will be back with a prediction video for chapter 269. So be on the lookout with that. But if you're listening to this on the podcast, hey, go on YouTube, or if you're on Anchor, you can actually leave a voicemail message. Let me know. I'll be glad to hear from you. And hey, if you want to support me directly, I have t-shirts, I have albums because I'm a rapper, I have a fiction book out, Ideas of Illusion, and I sell CBD. So just take a look in the description. All the goodies are there, and I hope y'all have an awesome Saturday. Peace.